Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Predator Badlands, which is the third Predator movie directed by Dan Trachtenberg, and the franchise's big return to theaters after The Predator killed it in 2018. This movie follows Dek, a young Yautja hunter who wants to try to prove himself to his father. His father thinks he's totally worthless and should be killed. But thanks to his brother, Dek is given a chance to prove himself by going off to a planet to hunt one of the most dangerous prey out there. Prey that is so dangerous that even Dek's father fears it. However, once he arrives to this planet, Dek soon finds out that literally everything living on it wants to kill him. So he comes across a Weyland-Yutani synth, played by Elle named Thea, who ends up becoming his guide across the planet in order to find this specific prey to prove himself to his father. This was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, along with the Secret Predator movie that Dan Trachtenberg was making, which ended up being Predator Killer of Killers, the animated anthology film on Hulu. But Badlands was the one I was excited for because it was the first time since 2018 that the Predator franchise was making its way to theaters. Because y'all remember back in 2018 when The Predator came out and we all thought, yeah, Shane Black is directing this and co-writing it. He was in the original Predator, so surely he understands this franchise. And then it came out and we were all dead wrong about him understanding the Predator franchise. Yeah, that was, I mean, I don't think it's worse than AVP Requiem, but it certainly has aged terribly, and I can see how it's a franchise killer. But thanks to Prey and Killer of Killers, the Predator franchise has gained new life, which leads us into Predator Badlands. And while those two previous movies kind of followed the same formula of a predator hunting a bunch of warriors, much like the original Predator, Badlands is the complete opposite. If anything, it's the most unique of all the Predator movies, and I couldn't be more grateful for it. I adore the original Predator and Prey, and Killer of Killers is pretty awesome as well, but Badlands is such a breath of fresh air for the franchise because it's entirely original, and it doesn't rely on calling back to the other Predator movies. You don't have quotes being recited from the original film. You don't have scenes being recreated that remind you of the original Predator. This movie has its own identity from beginning to end, and considering that this franchise started in the 80s, it feels like such a relief to have a sequel to an 80s film not rely on references, but rather be its own thing. Unlike a franchise like Terminator, Ghostbusters, or even Jurassic World, they just don't seem confident enough to veer away from the original masterpiece, and they have to shoehorn in references for no apparent reason. Predator Badlands is its own unique thing, and one of the things that really makes this film unique is that it's the first Predator movie where we actually get a Yautja as the main character. For being an alien hunter, Dek has surprisingly a very human story. He basically has daddy issues. He wants to prove himself to his father and the rest of his clan that he is not a runt and he can live up to the Yautja code. There's a lot of great facial expressions with the character because throughout a majority of the movie, Dek doesn't have a mask. And I imagine his face is probably a mix of animatronics with CG enhancements, but it's really convincing. And you really grow to like Dek as a character. I'll always love the really tough Yautjas that go after the toughest, meanest guys that they can find on Earth, but it is nice to get a Yautja with some humanity. It makes them more than what we're used to. Elle also does a really great job as Thea, the Weyland-Yutani synth that accompanies Dek on his hunt. Although I have to say, when we're first introduced to her character, there are points where I just found her annoying because she wouldn't shut up throughout a good chunk of this journey, and I found myself in Dek's shoes where I'm just like, quiet, tool. That's what he refers to her as. Because she's not human, Dek just sees her as nothing but a tool. But as the movie progresses, we get to learn more about Thea, we get to see what her purpose was on this planet, and that she has an identical twin synth named Tessa, also played by Elle and it results in some really great scenes, and the comedic moments with Thea die down drastically as the movie progresses. Like, once Thea and Tessa reunite, that's when the movie starts to get a little more serious and surprisingly emotional at points. This movie does a great job at not only just giving you everything you want from a Predator movie, which I'll elaborate on a little later, but it has a really relatable story as well. Thea and Deck work really well together, even if there is a language barrier, which thanks to Star Wars logic, they can understand each other. And it's just fun. Like, it's fun to see these two characters on their journey and see them become friends as the movie progresses. Now, when I say this movie gives you everything that you want from a Predator movie, I mean that in spite of the fact that this movie is PG-13. And I'm okay with this being PG-13, mainly because there are no humans in this movie. You get all the violence, gutting, dismemberments, decapitations, and spines being torn out that you expect from a Predator movie, but because they're all synths or aliens, it's okay to be PG-13. There's no human blood. And sure, you can make the argument that it's a compromise to get this movie PG-13, just by removing all humans in this movie, but it works better than in Alien vs. Predator, where that movie has humans, where we see them die by either the Yautja or the Xenomorphs, and yet not an ounce of human blood whatsoever, but they can spill as much Yautja and Xenomorph blood as they want. So AVP is a PG-13 Predator movie that did it wrong. Badlands is one that did it right, and it did it in a really creative way, without compromising any of the violence that you expect from a Predator movie. There are a few issues with this movie, but none too serious. I mentioned that Thea can get a little annoying when you're first introduced to her, and that's considering that the opening of the movie on Yautja Prime was so good that when she appeared and started just talking nonstop, I was like, yeah, maybe I'm not loving this movie as much as I did. But again, that changes as we get into the third act. And I think some of the CGI and some of the animals don't look as good. But I can also excuse this movie because it cost about $105 million. So it didn't have a super large budget by blockbuster standards. And it didn't take me out of the movie. There wasn't a visual effect that I saw and went, wow, that is terrible. I guess I could have liked to see a little more animatronic work, considering that the Predator franchise has always prided itself on animatronics for its Yautja. But overall, that's not enough for me to say that this is a bad movie by any means. It's not. It's really good, and I say worth seeing in your lifetime. If I had went back in time and told my younger self that the Predator franchise would have more great movies than the Alien franchise, I would have went, yeah, right. But thanks to Dan Trachtenberg, that's the case. And Predator Badlands is the latest entry in that argument that, yeah, as of now, the Predator franchise has eclipsed the Alien franchise in terms of more good movies than bad movies. I love the look of the movie, the characters are a lot of fun, the action is everything you want from one of these movies, and the score is very unique as well. It has a completely different sound than what we're used to with Alan Silvestri's score, but at the same time, it feels like it belongs in a Predator movie. This is a really great movie, and the more I've had time to sit on this movie, the more I really like it. And there you go, that's my review for Predator Badlands. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching this review, and I want to give a special thank you to my subscribers and YouTube members right over here. You guys are the reason why this channel continues to grow every day, and if you want to help to financially support the channel, you could do so via YouTube memberships for as little as $1.99 a month. But until next time, I want to know what you guys think about Predator Badlands. Whatever your opinions are, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. If you want to find me elsewhere on the internet, you can find me on these social media platforms and my theme park and travel channel right here on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.